Hey there, everyone. Today I'm going to be making an art journal. And these papers that I'm showing you real quickly were a digital printout. These are sold by Calico Collage. And she has some of the most gorgeous products, digital files that I've ever seen. And she has so many to choose from. Some of them are art journal kits, some of them are just bookmarks, whatever you need. I mean, you just have to take a look. But anyhow, these go beautifully with my TCW stencils. So I went ahead and printed out a whole bunch of the files. And that's another thing. You can print out as many as you want. Once you own the files, you can use them however you wish. And that's the great thing. You don't have to go to a store. You can print them out as many times as you want on any kind of substrate that you want. But like I was saying, I went ahead and printed out a whole bunch so I could put together this journal for you. And I am going to be folding these in half. I've already trimmed them so they're all the same because my printer gives it a white border. You can choose not to, but it kind of takes away from the dots per inch, the DPI. I like to have them look saturated in the colors that are on the papers. And I am folding them. As you can see, I couldn't find my bone folder again. You remember I had this struggle on the last video. But here I'm just going to fold them in half, and as you can see, that one page is going to end up being my cover page, and the other half of it will be my back page. And I cut out some cardstock or cardboard, and sorry, my allergies are so bad. And I went ahead and cut it to size so that I can have them ready to use. So once you fold all of these in half, like you see here, you're going to go ahead and put them together. You can use double-sided tape, you can use craft glue, and you can use bookbinder's glue. I usually use a combination of the double-sided tape with my bookbinder's glue. I love PVA. That is one of my favorites. But as you can see here, once you glue the pages together and you press them real firm and they're dry, you now have your art journal. And I think this is just wonderful. All of her prints go together. So you get this beautiful springtime vibe off of this, but it has that shabby chic look. Now to hold my pages together, I'm going to take some duct tape. I have lots of rolls of it. If you don't have duct tape, you could use, maybe you have some of that fabric that has adhesive on the back, or you could even use any kind of like masking tape, but something that has definitely a good stick. And if you don't have something like that, keep your pages glued together, and you could use a piece of fabric and then just put more glue on the fabric and attach that to the folds. Now, once I get these pieces together with the duct tape, I'm going to trim it, make sure everything works together. And as you can see here, I'm just lining it up, making sure my cover is going to fit, and it's all going to make matchy-matchy. After I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and get my TCW stencils and some colors that are kind of muted and soft, and I am just going to go to town on all of these pages. That's the fun part about art journaling. You can really get creative with what you do. And I hope you'll stick with me. I'll be back in a little bit. And right now, you're just going to see me doing some stenciling and getting it ready to add all the goodies. I call them the goodies, the stuff that I'm going to use in each and every single one of those pages. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so I went ahead and took some of the decorative ephemera. I don't even know how you say that, but the doodads and the baubles, and I went ahead and put them in the pages that I wanted to apply them. Now, I'm not sure all of this is going to fit in each and every single one of the pages, but I sure as heck am going to try. Um, my journal, I let the paint and all the stuff I did dry overnight, but I went ahead and started decorating in here. Now, I'm not going to show you how I do each and every single page because this video would be a week long, because it did take me quite a while to finish this journal. But for video's sake and timing's sake, I'm just going to give you a quick show on how I did it. I took the envelopes and stuff that you fold, and I used a ruler when I folded them together, a little plastic ruler, and I always folded them the wrong way first, and then I folded them the right way, and that way I made sure to get it in the design exactly where the fold was supposed to be. And I'm attaching the envelopes. You can put them in the little slots, or you can just hang them on the outside. But I went ahead and attached each and every single one to the pages of my journal so that I could put a little treat in there, a little sticker or a saying or a little piece of note. And I thought that was kind of cool. You can do it however you want. Now, it took me a little while to get warmed up doing this. At first, I tried to use some of those glue dots. I was given some somewhere at a convention somewhere. And let me tell you, those little suckers are not that easy to get off. It took me a while to figure it out, but because I'm not a patient woman, I went ahead and got some school glue and I used that. But then I broke out my TCW matte gel medium, and that's my magic, baby. That works. That stuff not only adheres it, but it gives it a protective layer over the top. So at this point, I hadn't gotten that far, but I am just slowly going through the pages and decorating them. And once all of this is done, we'll go ahead and work on the covers. And that here, now you see I got the gel out. I got smart. But the only problem is I had to take the pages and keep them separate while the gel was drying, or I broke out my heat gun so that I could dry the pages quicker. And I also took some of my what do you call it? Oh Lord, the ink. And I used one of those blending brushes. And after I was done decorating the pages, I went over them with some of my ink. You can pick whatever type of ink you want. I don't even remember which one I used, but I think it might have been the one by Dilutions. And I used that ink and I just rubbed the pages. The color I used was walnut, because it's not brown. It has that green look to it when you put it on the pages, and I love that color, and it really reminds me of spring. But here, as I'm putting these together, you kind of get a view of all the little doodads and bits you get. Now, every single one of these cutouts and sayings and envelopes and pocket files or pocket folds, they all come in the printouts. You just have to cut them out. And it was so much fun. I sat here binge watching my Netflix, cutting papers out and getting them all ready to do this. In fact, I cut out too many. I have tons left over to do another project. But okay, I'm going to be quiet now and finish up this. I'll be back when it's time to make the cover. Okay, so you can see here that each of these pieces of cardboard, once I've decorated them, are going to be glued onto the cover of our journal. And here you see I'm antiquing the pages with the ink, like I told you about earlier. I also took the TCW white gesso and I painted each of the cardboards on the front. The back you're not going to see because it's going to be glued down. I then recommend that you take either some clear gesso or some matte gel medium, something to protect these pages, because we're going to add some decorations, and because it's the cover, it's where your hands are going to be. And I added 2 coats of the TCW clear gesso to each of these, and I set them aside and let them dry. Once they were completely dried, then we get to have fun decorating them. I am going to try to make the cover match what's inside. So I went ahead and took some more of my stencils, and I am going to go ahead and add some bright colors or some muted colors that will stand out on these pages. I don't want it to look perfect. I'm kind of making it imperfect so it has that antique shabby chic look that I'm going for. And then once these pages are done, we'll go ahead and use the TCW light and fluffy modeling paste. You can mix that modeling paste with different colors, so I'm going to mix it with the leftover paints that I used when I was stenciling here. I love that green. That's that viridian green. Oh, it's so pretty. And it pops on top of these pieces of paper. But these stencils that I'm using here really have that look of old wallpaper or something. They have a really cool vibe. And here I'm just using some of the paints to get some different looks. But like I said, we're going to go ahead and break out the light and fluffy modeling paste and go to town here in a minute. So I'll be right back. All right, so here I'm taking the modeling paste, the TCW light and fluffy modeling paste, and I mixed it with some burnt umber, and I'm going to go ahead and put it through my stencil here. And I'm going to work on each cover alternating sides so that I give the paste a little bit of time to dry. Be careful when you're adding paint to the modeling paste because it can get very soupy very quickly. So you only need to add a drop, and then you mix it real quick and you use it real quick, but don't over mix because you'll lose the light and fluffiness of it. After I finish doing this, I'm going to go ahead and add the ephemera, and I'm going to finish up the pages. Once this modeling paste is completely dry, so it doesn't look so dark, I'm going to tone it down by taking the TCW white gesso and dry brushing it on there. And then after that, I'll go ahead and put my decorations on the front and the back. And then I'm going to glue it onto the front and the back pages. So it'll cover the edges of the masking tape. You'll only see the masking tape in the binding. And this will give you a finished look. When you see me putting on the cover, I hold the page out flat and then I put the cover on it. Because if you try to put the cover on a closed book, it's not going to glue completely because it's so full of stuff in there, unless you made a really thin book. So this is just a little tip that I give everyone. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're enjoying your days. I know it's really hard right now with everybody being inside. I've been locked up here for 3 weeks. So I wish everyone well, and I wish you a happy day. So take care, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.